5th Annual Crystal Eagle Awards Banquet. We have a wonderful program for you tonight, and I join all of you in anticipation of hearing from our guest speaker and Steve Fossett's flag partner, Anna Olson, in a few minutes. I'm Carl Honecker, the current president of the Aero Club and the MC for tonight's festivities. This annual event celebrates outstanding accomplishments in aviation and space technology that have a connection to Northern California. Tonight we have the privilege to recognize 3 aviation pioneers for their contributions to flight and award 4 scholarships to some potential pioneers in the making. I would now like to introduce you to tonight's awardees and their guests. At the head table, I'd like to have the scholarship awardees stand up. Justin Greenway, tonight our National Aeronautics Association awardees are Leonard Von Clem and his lovely wife, Lucia. Jim Lafferty and his lovely wife, Bunny. Also at the head table, my lovely bride, Karen Honecker. Our guest speaker, Anna Olson, and his wife, Susanna Conley. This evening, Peggy Fossett, who will be accepting the Crystal Eagle Award this evening on behalf of her belated husband, Steve Fossett. Please join me in a round of applause for all of our guests and awardees. Hopefully you've enjoyed the evening so far and have all found your seats, chatted with old friends and made a few new ones. I always encourage you, if you take a break from dinner, to check at the silent auction table back there. Check out the program and all the additional inserts. And don't forget, the silent auction will be open until 5 minutes after our program is over this evening. Remember that all proceeds from our auctions go to our scholarship fund. Matter of fact, that's the only way our scholarship fund gets funded. So please bid often and bid high. We also want you to pay special attention to the list of sponsors in our program and the donors on the auction list. We thank all of them for their generous contributions to this effort, and we thank you for bidding on these wonderful items to raise funds for our scholarships. As a sign of our sponsors and members support our club, I would like all of the San Jose State and Gavilan students in the audience who are guest sponsors and club members to please stand up. Come on guys, don't be shy. Please enjoy your dinner, and I'll be back with the rest of the program later. Thank you. Come to the podium, Mr. Frank Sweeney.
Not to read it verbatim. It's an honor to present this award to Lynn Von Clem. Because in the long time I've been around aviation, I've got to say he's one of the most remarkable pilots that I've ever run across. He's currently chief pilot of Military Rigged Aviation, and that's where tailwheel airplanes rule. He's been involved there for more than 4 decades. Over the years, I've flown with him in a number of antique aircraft. But I've never flown with him as a flight instructor until last December when I needed to get current again in the photography. So, Len and I went up. Before we went up, Al, the mechanic over there, said, "You always learn something new when you go out with Len." And you know what? Al was right. I learned some new things, some things that Len had picked up in his 24,000 hours of flying. I'll tell you a little background on Len. He was born in Illinois in 1933, but spent his early time in San Antonio, Texas, where his father was an Army officer. He was a paratrooper in the early 50s in the Army. He went to college. He worked in sales and construction, and in 1959, he told me, he took his first flight, a demonstration flight, in a Ryan PT-22. And he said the instructor flew an unexpected loop. So he stayed on the ground for the next 2 years. Then he tried it again in Florida, and he soloed at an rocket champ after 3 hours of dual instruction. And he promptly came to San Jose, where he met the Reed family and learned about anti-aircraft. He soon earned his private pilot, commercial pilot, and instructor ratings. He's worked as a crop duster, ran an engine maintenance facility, and became an FBO for a while. He trained with Eastern Airlines, but his whole class got furloughed. He flew pipeline patrol in Alaska. He said that was very brief. From 1985 to 1997, he was a corporate pilot and ran flight departments for Seagate, Technology, and Counter Peripherals in Silicon Valley. Len's ratings include airline transport pilot, the commercial multi-engine, single-engine land, single-engine, and multi-engine seaplane, advanced ground instructor, certified flight instructor, and multi-engine instructor. He's type-rated in 7 jets, Learjets, Lockheed Jetstar, Falcon 20, Astrojet, Canadair Challenger 601 to 603, Cessna Citation 500 series, Gulfstream D2 and D3, and Ford and Bushmaster trimotors. Len says there are no bad airplanes. Quote, they just have to fly and you just have to feel it. Yet with all that experience and aviation wisdom that he has imparted to countless others, Len Von Clem thinks of himself as, quote, just a pilot. So let's have a round of applause for just a pilot. I'll read the description on here. National Aeronautic Association Certificate of Recognition awarded to Leonard Von Clem for his accomplishments in support of the mission of the NAA, its affiliated members, and the American aviation community.
Well, if I were to give you a speech, you'd have to turn around because I'm looking at the backs of heads most of the time when I'm talking to people. So we'll go that. It's a great honor to be up here accepting this award, and I am going to accept it on behalf of flight instructors everywhere. A couple of summers ago, I was bringing a Piper out from the East Coast and landed at Plattsmouth in Nebraska. In a small building there, about a quarter of the size of part of the room, was the FBO, and in one corner of it was a lady teaching some young men pre-flight stuff before they were going out for the lesson. So there are instructors everywhere, and the instructors actually are the link between the Wright brothers to space. We've all that fly have encountered an instructor or 2 or 3 in our time, and I don't know if we appreciate them enough, but it is an honorable profession. It's allowed me to go around and meet a lot of people. And looking out of this room, I see all sorts of people who have kept radios working, engines working, airframes working. It gave me encouragement, and it gave me fellowship in the aviation. And during my corporate time, I was fortunate enough to be transported around the world in some of the finest planes that are produced for civilians, going from Penang, Malaysia to Paris, France, and Munich to Morocco, Bergen, Norway to Baja. It's been a nice long journey, and I've still got a few miles left. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. I have the privilege to help recognize our next and NAA orders, so we have Mr. Jim Lafferty. Jim Lafferty's name is synonymous with aviation. Come on up here, Jim. Synonymous with aviation. Good to see you, my friend. His involvement in the creation of the San Jose Jet Center and over 40 years of experience in aircraft sales as the owner of Lafferty Aircraft Sales is indicative of the entrepreneurial spirit, see I got through that word, and the innovation that makes this region famous. But before I go into any more detail, at this time, I'd like to introduce someone who knows Jim a lot better than I do. Please watch this.
Here's Tom.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening, even though I'm not here in person. And the real pleasure comes from introducing the recipient of one of our awards. Jim Lafferty, 1974, aeronautics grad, San Jose State University. I can recall the first time that I met Jim. He came in the office and was considering San Jose State. I mentioned this to Dr. Bell Way, our Dean of Engineering, at a meeting about 3 months ago. And she was quite surprised that I'd remember something about a student. Well, in the case of Jim's situation, he'd been going to UC Davis. He was interested in aviation. He found out about San Jose State, and down he came. Well, it was a pleasure to see somebody who had completed calculus
Prior to coming to San Jose State.
and other things that actually made life a lot easier for him and for us. I followed Jim through the years right up to today. And I must say that Jim's an example of why I feel that I had the best job in the world. We had a lot of people like Jim, but not really like Jim. Jim arrived on the scene and in relatively short order was involved in various student activities in addition to his studies. San Jose State's Flying Club and the U.S. Precision Flight Team, which was an internationally competing organization, caught his attention. Jim was one of the top pilots worldwide in that organization prior to his leaving San Jose State, and was always a contributor to San Jose State's Flying 20. We had all kinds of interesting things happening because Jim, of course, went into aviation while a student at Reed Hillview Airport. The program that he enrolled in required business and aviation, and before long, in addition to flying airplanes, he was doing a little business on the side. My understanding that subsequently this saw him sell or process more than 3,000 aircraft. Jim was a businessman, but Jim was also a human man who always worked with the campus and worked with students. We could always depend on Jim to help out. It is important to mention that he had a team at home that was extremely important. His wife, Bunny, from the beginning supported what Jim did. His boys were in the midst of it. Bunny, even today, is right in the midst of aviation and James Lafferty. That's an extremely important part of that total operation. Now, I'd like to interject something here. Jim had to overcome a few obstacles along the way. Early on, he had a bit of difficulty with an airplane that injured him badly, and yet Jim was able to put things back together again, go back to flying, and did very well. Later on in life, again, one of these things that slow a man down and stop many people, a snowmobile got away from him. And this banged him up. Did it stop him? No way. So there's a spirit there that ties in with all this interest in aviation and ability to do things with people and with aeroplanes. It is with great pleasure, even through this remote medium, that I present Jim Lafferty, the recipient of our Aero Club of Northern California NAA Award this evening. Thank you very much.
I think Tom said it all. I'll give you Jim Lafferty.
Well, this was supposed to be a very special night, but it is really special to not have Tom Leonard here, but to have him here in spirit for sure. And for him to do that, he has been one of my heroes for a long, long time. I was going to tell you a story tonight, and there's been a lot said already, so I can't tell you the whole story because it's a lot of it's already been said. But for the young people here, I'm going to cover just a few things. I came to San Jose State after normal high school and a couple of years up at UC Davis and Sacramento City College, and had a love of flying that went back to my first ride in the Lockheed Constellation that had Eastern Airlines written on the tail. And I'll never forget the day. It's still with me, and it's always very special to remember. In the San Jose State years, it was just one experience after another. And I'll tell you a couple of cute things that I did. I had the luck of being selected with Glenn Falcon to be a model watcher out at Ames Research Center for Raytheon Corporation. And it was just one of those little experience things that you fall back on once in a while. And I watched one of their fancy models roll over and over and over while I was half asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning one day. And I think the next day they let me go. So, not a real success at model watching. I also programmed the first test cell computer at United Airlines. It was a little phase in my aviation education, but it's something I look back on. A fellow by the name of Bob Cochran taught me more about jet engines than I ever thought possible. And when I left there, it was just one of those schooling things that you get, and as a student, you have those experiences that you never forget. And Totten was one of those very special guys who was a great friend of Tom Leonard's and taught me a whole bunch. The competitive flying is something that was a lot of fun. It started at San Jose State, and I was very lucky to qualify twice for the NAA. They called it the U.S. Precision Flight Team. It was really flying light airplanes. And I was extremely fortunate in 1977 to finish second in the world. And it's one of the things I look back on as, and not necessarily a great accomplishment, but one of the really fun things that I got to do. And there's a fellow here tonight that made a lot of that possible. Jerry Shreve, who was my coach. And without Jerry, that never would have happened. So, Jerry, thank you very, very much. I have this all written down in a very formal speech, but I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. The other thing that they said in the handout that I was a corporate pilot, not anything but a corporate pilot. But I think my e-ticket ride was the San Jose Jet Center. It was without a doubt one of the most exciting things anybody could ask to be involved in. When we started back in 1982-83 with some drawings from the Race Corporation, and followed that through until we were selected second in the bidding process at the airport. And finally, we moved up to number one, and the number one selectee was decided they didn't want to do it. It started well, I guess you'd call it an e-ticket ride that was just something beyond anybody's imagination. Still today is one of the finest in the world. And to all the people, there's some people in this audience that have worked there, that have been involved with that process. I thank you dearly. It was one of those very special events in somebody's life that you look back on and say, we can never do this again, I don't think. And I'm not sure how we got here, but it really did turn out very special. I left that in 2000, end of year 2000, and I continued my aircraft sales business. I've had some wonderful experiences. One more I want to tell you about because I think it's so important that we give something back when you reach this age. I taught a class at San Jose State, and I would encourage anybody in this audience that has the desire to try that on. It was truly one of the best experiences of my life. It was an aviation course, and I had 24 wonderful students, and I think I learned more from them than they learned from me. And there's a guy sitting out here that I worked with a little bit, but Glenn Falcon has taken over that, running that department, at least as an honorary chair or the current chair. And anything that this organization can do to support those kids and the future of aviation, I think your scholarship program tonight, I had one of the young men flew a trip for me to Bonanza last week, and it's just one of those good stuff that really makes a difference. I do want to thank some people, and I thank Tom Leonard and Jerry Shreve. I don't want to leave out some folks that I just are very important to me. I guess if you, I'm having trouble getting this open, but I want to make sure I don't leave anybody out. I had a business manager kind of person that's not here tonight. But she and April Metton, who is back in the back of the room, and my dear friend Kathy McTrank Benson have been part of my business for so long and have had such an instrumental part in making it happen. To them, I can't thank you guys enough. They have been very special, and two of them are here, but I had to thank them anyway. And I think I'm going to skip over the rest, but I want to thank the person that put up with the 70-hour weeks and the peaks and valleys of a crazy aviation career, and that's my wife, Ryan. Anyway, thank you very, very much for this award, and thank you to all the very special people over the years that I've worked with, worked for, that have worked for me. It's been a wonderful experience, and I only hope I can be around for a few more years and enjoy the ride. So thanks a lot.
One of the things Jim provided me in preparation for this evening was a poem that he wrote as he was crossing the Atlantic on one of his first, or it was the first ferry flight that he had going across the Atlantic. And I will leave copies of that. It's called Alone in the Night. And I will leave some copies at the back of the room for anybody that wants one later this evening. But I want to say congratulations to both of our NA awardees, and thank you to Frank and to Tom in a media that he is not familiar with, trust me, for those wonderful introductions. Thank you. On the table, as part of your package, it was either an insert or underneath your program, is a description of the 4 named scholarship awards that the Aero Club provides to worthy students in an aviation curriculum. The Robert Bell Hamilton, James M. Nissen, John C. Fennell Sr., and H. Gene Little scholarships are all named for former aerospace pioneers affiliated with our club. Please refer to that sheet as we honor these 4 students this evening. To introduce our awardees are 2 of our board members who have a direct connection to aviation and education in Northern California. Not only were they involved in the selection of these students for these awards, they continue to be involved in the advancement of the aviation curriculum at San Jose State University. Please welcome to the podium Sandra Clifford and Scott Yelich.
it is an honor to be here this evening. Professor Tom Leonard, who welcomed Jim Lafferty, ran San Jose State for 40 years. Many people in this room owe him our dream, and that is why, as a director for the Air Club of Northern California, I take my position in the scholarship committee very seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam and Matt and Justin and Crit are our future. And these outstanding young people, I'll go down the bio, I'll be real quick, but I want you to know we had 3 scholarships. We had 10 applicants and they all jumped off the page. It was so hard to pick. So, Pam and Matt, you do San Jose State proud. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Bonner has recently begun a Women in Aviation Club at San Jose State, and her first task was welcoming all the freshmen to her university. And this is a phenomenal day, and I said, Pam, when have you done this before? She said, Sandra, this is my first. She had unified the entire program. She had invited the dean, the president of the university, to welcome our future. So Pam, thank you. And this team, they believe in we, not me, not he, she, not them. They believe in we, and they demonstrate that. Pam grew up in Truckee. Matt Neff grew up in Santa Cruz. And I'll run down Pam's Special Award, Civil Air Patrol Certificate Appreciation in 2000, Civil Air Patrol Nevada Wing Cadet in 2001, Excellence in Scholarship Award, Vocational Education in 2001, Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation Scholarship winner for flying in 2002, and again, President and founder of Women in Aviation Club at San Jose State. Ladies and gentlemen, she has organized 7 students going down to San Diego, and she's raised all the funds with the help of course, Anita Ferris, who is another amazing presenter. And Matt Neff is the Jepson Scholarship winner for 2006, the Tom Leonard Scholarship winner for 2007, which allowed him to attend a policy seminar in Washington, D.C. in January, and is the 2007 Fowler Endowment Scholarship winner. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to honor both Pam and Matt with our Aero Club Scholarship. They will be receiving a $1,000 check.
Just one other thing we'd like to point out this evening. We actually have all 3 of our scholarship recipients from last year's dinner that are with us tonight. I'd ask them to please stand. Ken, Ryan, Andrew. Just to give you an example, when we needed some help, some AD support, who's there? Ryan. To give back, just the kind of people that are selected for these scholarships, the attitude and aptitude. I'd ask them to please cover their ears at this point because the scholarships have been doubled from last year. Largely due to your generosity. And I'll use this as a point of shameless promotion for our silent auction in the back. That's that plus some kind donors and some good investments that allowed us to double these scholarships. And we have a special one-time scholarship in honor of Dr. H.G. Little, who served as a department chair after Tom Leonard retired at San Jose State University. And I'm going to go a little different order. You guys can relax a little bit here while I brighten on you a bit. First off, Justin Greenway with the Robert L. Hamilton Scholarship. I'm going to use my cheaters. And actually, both these gentlemen are San Jose natives officially. Justin says he can't really remember when he first got interested in aviation because he's always been interested in aviation. Born in San Jose and raised in Kansas, maybe being near Wichita had a little bit of influence on that. He first started washing and detailing airplanes in high school to pay for flight training. And 1 month after he graduated from high school, he successfully passed his private pilot check ride. He went on to enroll in a local junior college. At the end of that first year, he had been promoted to supervisor at the FBO he had been working at and completed his instrument rating. At that point, he decided to expand his horizons and return back to San Jose and joined us at San Jose State University. Got active right away, joined Alpha Eta Rho, the International Aviation Fraternity. San Jose State has the second oldest chapter, and became very involved there, served a year as secretary, and is still involved with that organization. This guy works like crazy. Worked at the San Jose Jet Center, started in 2005, was there a couple of years. Took the skills he learned in Kansas and brought those to San Jose. Also here on the San Carlos airport field, working for Rapid Aviation as a fueler. In fact, he ran over for the job today to join us tonight. So, working like crazy. Just this last year, November, completed his commercial pilot certificate, advanced in instrument ground instructor certificate. He started a new phase of his life, moving more into the instruction side. Has 5 students that he's working with now, preparing them for a written exams, both instrument and private. He's serving as volunteer simulator instructor at San Jose State University, and he has just started this month teaching the private pilot ground school at West Valley Flying Club in Hayward. So well on his way to his next goal of becoming a flight instructor, multi-engine rated pilot by the summer, and he'll be graduating from San Jose State with a Bachelor of Science degree in aviation ops this coming December. So he's definitely on his way to meeting that goal of becoming a commercial airline pilot. And I'd like to bring Dustin up this time. Our fourth recipient for the evening, again, is receiving a special award. We have originally advertised only 3 scholarships, but as Sandra mentioned, we had 10 outstanding students, and it was very difficult selecting this year. We did have an optional 4th scholarship that we've been holding, and we were able to use that one to select at this time, and even then had a hard time finding the 4th one out of the 10. But Christopher Scholler, known by his friends and everyone else's crit, is San Jose product, born and raised in San Jose, graduate of Bellarmine College Prep, class of 2002, and comes from an aviation family. Mother has 27 years with the FAA, air traffic control, so aviation was spoken at home. And he was bitten by the bug early. At age 10, began flying Amelia Reed Aviation in a Taylor craft, owned and maintained an Aranca Champ for a period of time that's kept at Reed Hillview. Completed aerobatic training through Amelia Reed, and in addition to being a pilot, also mechanically inclined and has an entrepreneurial flair. He owns and operates his own business, Lazarus Restorations, and he says that's a .com also. Specializing in restoring vintage Japanese motorcycles. This is financed all of his flying. So businessman, entrepreneur, pilot. Sound familiar, Jim Lafferty? So the next generation coming along. Has over 300 flight hours, aerobatics, complex tailwheel endorsements, served as the communication officer with the Flying 20 Flight Club, and has been the safety officer, served for 1 year with the Flight 7 Precision Flight Team, and is currently the captain of the flight team. This year the team took 2nd place at the regional competition, which qualified them to compete at nationals, which will be in Tennessee this coming May. Rick will graduate from San Jose State with a Bachelor of Science degree in Aviation Management, December 2008, so both Justin and Rick will escape from us at that time. And he plans on pursuing a California teaching credential as well as his flight instructor certificate. He's very dedicated in aviation education. So a very deserving candidate, and I think Jane Little would be proud to have you receiving this scholarship in his name tonight. Kirk, would you please come up?
None of these young people get to do this alone. I'd really appreciate it if the friends and families of these 4 young people would stand up and be recognized for their support and their effort that they can do here tonight. So please do that. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a distinct honor and privilege at this time for me to introduce our guest speaker for this evening, Mr. Einar Olson. After obtaining a master's degree in aeronautical engineering from the University of Wyoming, Einar joined the U.S. Air Force and became a fighter pilot. He had this wonderful opportunity when he was an exchange pilot in the Royal Air Force. He was selected to attend the Empire Test Pilot School in Farnborough. He served as a test pilot on the Hunter, the Lightning, and the Javelin, all British fighters back at that time. Following his service in the Air Force, Einar had an illustrious career as a NASA research pilot, flying a variety of unique aircraft at NASA's Dryden facility at Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California. Many of you might remember Marty Knudsen, who's given us a presentation or two for some of our spring lunches. He and Einar have flown together and knew each other during that time frame. During that career at NASA, Einar received 2 exceptional service medals for his research on F-111, F-15, and F-14 test projects. Einar is now the project director for the Perlin project, with the goal of reaching an altitude of 100,000 feet in an unpowered glider. As part of this project, in August of 2006, he and Steve Fossett set a new glider altitude record exceeding 50,000 feet. So, pretty tall order for an unpowered aircraft. And I'm sure he'll tell you a little bit more about that this evening. He's also agreed this evening to provide you with some insights and achievements of our Crystal Eagle awardee, Steve Fossett. I'm sure you will enjoy his presentation this evening. Please join me in welcoming Einar Olson. Thank you.
Thank you, Air Club of Northern California, to help participate in this honor for Steve Fossett. And while I'm here, I'll add my welcome to all the students that are here tonight and emphasize how much we all are looking forward to their becoming contributing members of the aviation community. I presume they're all obsessed with aviation like most of us were. And I know you'll have a great time in that career. Let's see, I have a thing here. I need help. Well, I'll just start out here, and it was just my enormous good fortune to spend around 10 years working with Steve on the high-altitude glider project. It was one of the projects that I think was very close to his heart. It started out as a search for a record, but it evolved into an exploration of a new phenomenon where it really is unexplored until now. Just talking about Steve, he was into so many different things in just a casual conversation. I know maybe the record that I sensed that he was proud of stuff was really his around the world sailing record, which he thought that he and his crew had done just exceptionally well. And it was pleasure to see him being describing that voyage. We're still working on it's funny working on that. Okay, business. Okay, there's the. I didn't know that much about his other projects, but I'm going to tell you a little about the project we did together, which is the high altitude soaring project. Still, I can't go forward. Okay. This picture gives you a little idea of the enormous forces that exist in the atmosphere, which we were interested in harnessing or using to our advantage. This picture is the Owens Valley looking south toward Owens Lake with the Sierra Nevada on the right, and tremendous windstorm sweeping down from the Sierra, maybe 100 miles an hour across the Owens Valley, then becoming unstable in mid-valley, just shooting straight up to about 25,000 feet. That gives you a little idea of the magnitude of the forces we deal with. And this is just a little simplified schematic of what's happening here. The winds are coming over a mountain, drop down the backside, bounce, and go into it, depending on the mood of the air, by which I mean the vertical distribution of winds and temperatures. It can propagate downwind in a series of bounces, or it can extend more or less indefinitely vertically, which is not so common, but it can go up 100 miles or more. This was the origin of the Pearland project, and Pearland is Old Norse for pearl, and these are called the nacreous or mother of pearl clouds, and they have a very pearly appearance. These clouds are over northern Scandinavia in the winter, and you can see they show a wavy motion. Those clouds are at an altitude of about 75,000 feet, and they are intimately related to ozone destruction. Well, what's happening here? This was the first real good, oops, wrong thing. This is the first really good depiction of these clouds, and this is a vertical pointing laser, and this is the backscatter. It's a pulse color image. And you can see we're at 23 kilometers, which is something on the order of 75,000 feet. And you can see the waving motion of the air. These are actually depicts the trajectories of air particles up there. And this orange, yellow stuff is nitric acid trihydrate, and the red and black stuff is water ice at about minus 86 degrees centigrade. So when I saw this picture, I knew that there was likely to be a soarable wave at these altitudes, and probably above, because there just wasn't any cloud above, so there's nothing for the laser to scatter from. And why does this happen? It happens, turns out that this only happens in closer to the pole, and it happens in the dead of winter, when the one end of the Earth goes into shade, the sun goes into shade, and so it chills. There's no sunlight coming in the atmosphere. It chills, it descends, it can compresses like an accordion, and as it descends, the Coriolis force spins it up into a high-speed circular motion. This has sort of been suspected since around 1960 and been very well documented in the course of research into the ozone hole. The interesting thing about it is at the South Pole, this comes through to about 45 degrees of latitude, and in the North Pole, it comes down only to about the Arctic Circle, or maybe 65 degrees latitude. So the result of this is some really strong winds at high altitude. Let me explain this graphic a little bit here. We're standing looking west somewhere in Argentina. Here's the equator on the right and the South Pole on the left. And we're looking sea level at the surface at the bottom here and 100,000 feet high at the top. And the colors depict the strength of the wind. Over here on the right side is the bullseye. It's a subtropical jet stream, which airliners contend with all the time, either helping or hindering. And there, this is a fairly low, it's probably goes up to about 35,000 feet. And here's the polar jet. Usually there's a pair of jet streams. This is a polar jet, and it's about the same altitude. And then up here is the polar vortex. And we can see that we have much stronger winds, much higher. The winds are maximum of around 100,000 feet. And this particular day, they were about 140 knots. That was not particularly strong. 250 knots is not uncommon in the polar vortex. So this is what causes those mountain waves to propagate to any altitude you want to name, 100 miles, for instance. And this happened to be taken, this is data on exactly the time and place that we flew the sailplane. And so we got right here. And the necessary condition for the wave to continue vertically is that as you go up, the wind not decrease. It continually gets stronger as you go higher. So this clearly was not an ideal day because there's a slight trough in the wind up here around 35,000 feet. But it was not so bad that it killed the wave. And we were just reaching the area where it should really start getting stronger and the wave just continues on up. And you go to basically the coffin corner of your airplane. You go to the altitude where your stall speed and your critical Mach are the same. And it turns out for a sailplane, you can get that altitude up to about 120,000 feet. You don't have to carry an engine or fuel. So you can fly higher than any power plane can fly. So Steve said, this is a pretty good idea. Let's do it. And my idea was let's build a special sailplane that can fly to 100,000 feet. And very wisely, Steve said, well, let's sort of stick our toe in the water and learn a little bit more about it. Let's buy a production sailplane. Let's buy a production sailplane and you see if you can borrow some pressure suits. And we'll go fly and see how it works. See if this actually idea has some promise. So we bought a production sailplane. We did extensive modifications for about 18 months. And then off we went to New Zealand. Here we are trying to figure out how to shoehorn two people in pressure suits into a sailplane. We pretty much gutted the whole airplane and reconfigured it internally. Externally, it's a standard sailplane. Steve could never get in the back and the front. It was just too narrow. Steve's a lot bigger than I am, so he had to sit in the back where it's a little bit more room. And when you borrow a pressure suit, well, you're obliged to use a qualified pressure suit expert to come with you. And you can see that it's a good idea to keep them on your side. And you need them to get you in and out of the suit. There's just an enormous amount of upkeep on the suits. I think it would have been easier to build a new glider with take care of those suits for all those years. And one of the things, our use of the suit was quite different than the normal Air Force use. These are the same suits that NASA uses in the SR-71 and Beale uses in the U-2 and the SR-71. I've used those things for 30 years. In our use, we have no coolant. We have no cooling flow in the air, so it's like wearing a rubber band. So if you're not careful and you start sweating, it's going to be bad, because once you get cold, it's going to conduct the heat. So when we operate, well, we have to just completely relax and let other people do every task and avoid exertion at all times until we get airborne. And then when we fly, I leave the window open to 25,000 and it's good and cold. And then above that, well, suddenly the problem reverses and you close the windows and try to keep warm going up from there. And of course, we spared no expense for transporting ourselves. And here we are, you can see how roomy it is in the cockpit. We knew it was going to be a problem, and that's when the suit is deflated. Above 35,000 feet, the suit starts gaining more and more pressure. So we actually measured the airplane on the ground with the suit inflated, and it bulges the sides out about an inch. And of course, you don't move around a lot once the suit is inflated. And that turned out to be actually the limit of our altitude on our record flight. Thank you. And there we are, ready to go. And we got things worked out pretty well. And off we went to do some shakedown flights. And we flew out of Kansas City and flew up and down the Sierras up to 42,000 feet, just making sure all our systems, our batteries, our oxygen systems, and navigation, and some displays all work. And it turns out that in this project, you always fly in the winter in the desert, everywhere you go. You're in the rain shadow in the winter. What I didn't mention about that polar vortex is that it forms about midwinter and disappears about the end of winter, and it's gone for the rest of the year. So we're obliged to fly in all the flying is in the winter. And then we did some flights up in Indiokern. Just in passing, this is John Carco, and John Carco was a designer and a test pilot of Steve's Around the World airplane. So we went off to New Zealand, and this is South Island, New Zealand, and this white stuff, that's the Southern Alps. And it's a beautiful range of mountains, those of you that have seen the Lord of the Rings, that's some nice views of it. And it's up to about 12,000 feet here. And so we flew from a little town of Maryland, and we worked our way up the mountains to the lee of the mountains. And actually, Elmira is a little tiny desert in the middle of New Zealand. And we did that for 3 years, and for one reason and another, the weather just never quite all lined up for us. But it was a pretty place. New Zealand, and the Maori name for New Zealand is Aotearoa. And that means the land of the long white cloud. And so the Maori, for hundreds of years, they appreciated these lenticular clouds that form along the whole length of New Zealand. It's a beautiful country, desert country. One of the lovely things about soaring in the wave in particular is the scenery. You get some wonderful views. Up here are the higher lenticulars, and here's all the roll clouds and turbulence and so on, and the beautiful terrain of New Zealand. So after 3 years in New Zealand, we decided to try South America. People had started doing some distance soaring along the spine of the Andes, made some remarkable flights up to 2,000 miles in a single day in a sailplane. And so we looked as far south as we could get, and there's a very nice airport at El Calafate. And this gives us, Google Earth. And down here, that's North Tierra del Fuego, that's the South Pole, and then this goes northward along the Andes. And we flew along here, place in the mountains around Torres del Paine, some of you travelers may be familiar with. And here's Cerro Fitzroy, which is a spectacular mountain there. Not too tall. These mountains are not as tall as the Sierras even. They're up to about 9 or 10,000 feet generally. And we operated from a little town, tiny town, El Paine. And this is the big giant glacial lake. It's about 50 miles long. And another giant lake is Lago Argentino and Lago Viedma. And they're fed by these very large glaciers. And so we take off here and we have to tow into the wind up through the mountains about 40 miles. That would take us about an hour to get to where the wave was. This is one of the big glaciers there that we were flying above. And once again, the scenery, it was absolutely magnificent. These gorgeous lenticular clouds. When we were flying, we were about 15,000 feet above the highest clouds, and above everybody else too. One of our flights, we were quite legal, and we worked with Chilean air traffic control, and so we had a good transponder that would work up to 100,000 feet if necessary, and a Chilean airliner was flying by, and the traffic controller says, "Oh, look up to your left there. There's a glider at 50,000 feet." And the airliner said, "Oh, wow." So you get up there, and these are our air brakes. And without the air brakes, it takes a long, long time to get down. It takes hours to get down. With the air brakes, we get down in about a half hour. And by the time you decide to come down, you'd like to come right down, because one of the reasons you come down is that you really get cold. And once you decide you're cold enough, well, you'd like to get down and get warm again. This just kind of expresses a feeling that sometimes you're up there and you feel like you're a very small boat in a very big ocean. This is the temperatures we had on board. We had some NASA instrumentation we were carrying, and this is our temperatures. And you can see the tropopause here about 35,000 feet. It was about minus 60 centigrade. And then it warmed up at 51,000. We were back up to about minus 50. And it was quite a bit more comfortable, 50,000 and 35, because not only was it a little warmer, but the air was much thinner, so the convection was much lower. We didn't have the same chill factor, because the air was about, air at 50,000 is about half as dense as it is at 35. This is kind of interesting. The Navy, well, the military is interested in these phenomena, and they're particularly interested in high altitude turbulence. Some of their, like the Global Hawk flies up there, and they've had very dangerous, in fact, catastrophic encounters of turbulence at high altitude, and they'd like to be able to forecast it. So let me go through this chart here to show you what it means. Okay, over here on the left is the Pacific Ocean. Here's some islands that come to Chile. Here's the Andes right here on the bottom. And here's where we take off over here. And then it goes on over toward the Atlantic Ocean. And here's altitude. So this is the sea level. And that's 20,000 meters, which is 66,000 feet. Now, this chart is prepared by a naval research labs at Monterey. We have a scientist there whose full-time job is studying this sort of thing. And this is a 36-hour prediction of the lift and the sink same areas. So I kind of lost some of the scale over here, but the red and the brown is going up quite strongly. Like this is about 20 feet a second vertical speed, and then the blue is coming down, and then we got 20 feet a second downward. So these things are about a little less than 10 miles apart. The wavelength of these things is about roughly 10 miles. So this was the prediction he made 36 hours before we flew. We didn't actually use a prediction, but we went back and looked at what he had done after the fact. And here's where we flew. We flew right up this predicted wave, and then we got up about as high as we could here, about 35,000 feet, and above the clouds, and weren't going up much. So we decided to draw back and see if we could get in this secondary harmonic. And he almost hit that exactly, and that's where we went. And interestingly, we were through some weak area here and just getting into the strong lift again, which would just continue. And he was just predicting to 66,000 feet. This goes on up indefinitely. So we're in a good position to continue forever. But with our various problems, we decided that that was a pretty good place to. We had basically done what we wanted to do, Steve's original goal, and that's to convince ourselves that we could go high if we had the right lighter. And so at that point we decided, yep, we need the right lighter so we can go on up this unbelievable altitude. Actually, I cut off this graph a little early, but we dropped back and we actually did some lift in the third harmonic back here. So the prediction was remarkably good. It's particularly good when you consider that there's very few weather stations at 50 degrees south or further in the southern hemisphere. There's probably 3 or 4 balloons go up a day, if that many. And all this stuff comes out of the global model, a giant computer model that takes a little bit of data that exists and fits it to a mathematically physically consistent model. And this thing comes out with winds, clouds, temperatures, rain, and we found that the winds at high altitude were remarkably well predicted by the global model down here in the absence of much actual measurement. So in the flight, we had some adventures. We'd gone down the year before and flown for about 3 weeks and not did anything real good. We got up to 33,000. And so this year we went down and we had an improved navigation display. And we tried to load it on our display computer, and for some reason it wouldn't load. But we looked at the winds and it said, hey, it's great winds, let's fly and we'll load the program tomorrow. So we flew at about 31,000 feet. Steve's suit suddenly started going stiff and shook so stiff till 35,000. And he said it was pretty stiff. So I had visions of that thing going to full overpressure, which you're just sitting there rigid, which is not a good thing to be doing. So we decided to go right down. And we went down and checked for any malfunctions, couldn't find any. That's the other thing, we used the suit much longer at much colder temperatures than the Air Force ever did. So probably somewhere in there, somewhere that an orifice had some ice in it. So we changed everything we could that might have contributed to it and went up the next day. And at almost the same altitude, it went hard again. And so I said, well, let's go down and see if wait a minute. Let's see if maybe it'll clear. So we stayed there a minute, pretty soon said, it's clear. So off we went, and it never malfunctioned again. And I must say that the suit is kind of a scary thing. A malfunction in the suit is something that you really can't deal with. It's probably never going to not give you pressure and not give you oxygen. But if it goes hard, well, it's going to put you really out of the fight. You're just totally helpless. And it really induces claustrophobia, and not a lot, fair number of people get in the suit and they start fighting their way back out. And when the suit goes out of control and hard, well, to me it's a very scary event. But I thought, Steve's back there, Steve doesn't get excited, and he can handle things like that. So I'm willing to go. There are not a lot of people in the world that I would want to take along in those circumstances. So we made the flight and we were pleased with ourselves, with our accomplishment and with our decision to press on the project. That's the airport at El Calafate. They have a beautiful, modern international airport, and they get 2 DC lines per day. So there's a lot of people around, baggage handlers and so on, and they're eager and willing and happy to help us push the airplane and put the wings on and do all those things. They're wonderfully friendly, helpful people. The Argentine Air Force is nominally kind of like Homeland Security here. They actually control all the airports, and they just gave us every help. They moved one of their whole offices out of the room and gave us that for operating or using the pressure suits. It was very, very delightful. And it's a big operation. All those people were essential to the whole operation. So that's so we got home and that's the mock-up for the pressurized glider. And that's just a picture of the pressurized glider to be built. And here, this is just to show, it seemed like everywhere we went, people turned up that Steve made friends with. We just like to be around these people, and they like to come out, and we have a good time together. There's the mayor of El Calafate. This guy is in this little tiny town. He has a tiny machine shop. And the day before we were going to fly, we had we needed a fitting to transfer liquid oxygen, and we didn't have it. And it was Sunday, and so we went off and tracked him down, and he came out to his shop and machined us a fitting one night. And in the morning we were able to fill our liquid oxygen, and off we went. These are some absolutely wonderful pilots from New Zealand. They helped us, and they would brief us, and they'd tell us where to go. And they flew when we flew, and they'd say, don't bother going north, south is where we're getting to. One guy would go north, one guy would go south, one guy would go east, and they'd say, yeah, come east today, that's where the best weather is. And they are some superb pilots, I must say. And you can see they were good friends with Steve, and still are. And of course, we were very serious. I told you how you're never going to win a fight with a suit when you're inside. But here we just put some air in the suit to dry it out. And Steve decided he could probably vest the suit from outside. So that's Steve. His great gift to all of us was his spirit. It was a good one. Thank you.
Tanner, thank you for that wonderful presentation about your world and the Pearl Project and the world of altitude glider flight. A few thoughts about Steve and all the things that he did, breaking all those records and as you said, giving us a little bit of his spirit. You can bring the lights up. You know that takes time for these lights, so the earlier we start, the better. If you have read the program this evening, you know that Steve Fossett was the recipient of many awards, many accolades for his adventures and records in flight, sailing, and endurance. Steve was a fellow of the Royal Geographic Society and the Explorers Club and set 116 records in 5 different sports, of which approximately 60 still stand, including the altitude record for soaring. Many of his records are listed in your program if you take a look. His fascination with adventure and testing his endurance started when he was just a teenager and a Boy Scout growing up in Southern California. His father's encouragement led to Steve becoming an Eagle Scout. How many Eagle Scouts are in the crowd out there? I think most of you appreciate the fact that Steve went on and congratulations. Steve went on to be, was it chair, Peggy, of the Boy Scouts? Eagle Scouts Association. And was awarded the Silver Buffalo, which is one of the highest awards given in scouting. Stayed involved with scouting throughout his life. But even with all of that, he had an innate desire to do something different, to reach out and do something different. Even while he was at Stanford getting his undergraduate degree, he was always looking for challenges, was always involved with university clubs and things like that. Matter of fact, his fraternity brothers challenged him one time, and he swam across the bay to Alcatraz in order to put up a banner that read, "Beat Cow." Hey, how many Stanford fans are out there? There's a couple of fans out there. His competitive spirit was also evident in the business world, and his success in commodities and security trading provided him with the means and the contacts to pursue other adventures and accomplish his dreams. Steve was the quintessential American aviator, sailor, and adventurer. As mentioned earlier in Einar's presentation, probably his most famous adventure was his efforts to become the first person to do anything. And in this case, probably the most famous thing he did was his effort to fly solo nonstop around the world in a balloon. You see the centerpiece on the head table. Thank you, Sharon. It's a model of the balloon that he eventually, on his 6th attempt, succeeded in circumnavigating the globe. He later accomplished a similar solo nonstop record in an unrefueled aircraft called the Virgin Atlantic Global Flyer. You've seen pictures of it here tonight, and there's pictures of it in your program. But I would imagine if you were here, you would agree that one of his earliest and proudest accomplishments was his marriage to the wonderful lady sitting right here to my right, who stood by him during all of his adventures and years of hard work. We want to thank Peggy Fossett for being here this evening and coming all the way from Colorado to help us celebrate Steve's accomplishments. To wrap up my remarks, I'd like to read an excerpt from a poem about pilots that I think will help explain why people and pilots like Steve and our other Crystal Eagle awardees challenge themselves and test the envelope of their machines and their endurance. And this is the last part of this poem. They have watched the Pacific sky turn purple at dusk. They know the twinkling jewel beauty of Los Angeles at night. They have seen snow upon the Rockies. They remember the vast unending mat of green Amazon jungle, the twisting silver road that is the father of waters, an ice cream cone called Fujiyama, and the hump of Africa. They have watched the satellite streak across the starry sky, seen the clear deep blue of the stratosphere, felt the incalculable force of the heavens. They have marveled at sun-streaked evenings, dappled earth, velvet night, spun silver clouds, sculptured cumulus, God's weather. They have viewed the northern lights, a wilderness of sky, a pilot's halo, a bomber's moon, horizontal range, contrails, and St. Elmo's fire. Only a pilot experiences all of these. It is their world. At this time, I would like to add what we believe is one of the most unique awards in aviation to the Fossett Trophy case. The Aero Club of Northern California Crystal Eagle Award. The Crystal Eagle is a beautiful piece of artwork, handcrafted in Italy. It is mounted on a California redwood base. Thank you, Tom, even though you're not here, for putting all this together. Combined, they represent the power, strength, and grace of a soaring American eagle, coupled with the unusual durability and stability of the largest trees in the world. It is fitting that this award go to someone who epitomizes those traits. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present the 2000 Aero Club of Northern California Crystal Eagle Award to Peggy Fossett on behalf of her husband and aviation pioneer, Steve Fossett. The inscription on the award reads, "The Aero Club of Northern California Crystal Eagle is awarded to Steve Fossett, an acknowledgement of his many extraordinary contributions while acting as a catalyst to extending the boundaries of the realm of flight. He was the personification of the modern adventurer, skilled pilot, creative explorer, enthusiastic competitor, 20th century manager, one who always integrated the state-of-the-art science and advances in his quest." Please join me in thanking Peggy and AR for being here and helping us recognize Steve's amazing contributions to the Adventure Club. Thank you, Peggy.
Carl, and to all of the Aero Club of Northern California for this wonderful honor. Steve would have been really proud. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us this evening. A&R Peggy, for a short period of time, will be available for autographs and to talk with you for a few minutes. But there are still silent auction items back there, folks, and some of them are pretty special. So you have 5 more minutes to get back there and make one last bid, then Ron will cut the thing off. Please don't forget your coats, your cameras, and remember to set your clocks ahead tonight. And please drive safely. Happy
Steve Fossett was a daring adventurer who rewrote the record books with his numerous flights. Tonight, he was honored here in the Bay Area.
Complete Bay Area news coverage starts right now. This is the 10 o'clock news on KTBU Channel 2.
Good evening, I'm Ken Wayne.
And I'm Heather Holmes. Aviation enthusiasts on the peninsula tonight gathered to honor adventurer Steve Fossett, who set some of the most daring records in flight. The Aero Club of Northern California's Crystal Eagle Awards dinner had to be postponed last year because of Fossett's disappearance. Fossett went missing in September, flying over a rugged area of western Nevada. A man who served as co-pilot on many of the historic flights remembered Fossett tonight.
He was really a people person. Everywhere he went, we had friends. They would gravitate toward him, and he would certainly enjoy their company, and he was a good friend.
Fossett set more than 100 world records, including landmark around-the-world flights in both airplanes and balloons. Despite a massive search, no trace of Fossett or his aircraft has ever been found. Fossett set more than 110 records in 5 different sports, 60 of which still stand.